Direct Connection is made by MPT to serve all of our diverse communities and is made possible by the generous support of our members. Thank you. Live from Maryland Public Television, this is Direct Connection with Jeff Salkin.
Good evening. Welcome to your Direct Connection. Tonight we connect you with top executives of the Baltimore Ravens. We'll get answers to your questions about the NFL, the Ravens, and the new stadium renovations. Here at the team's headquarters in Owings Mills, practice got underway last week. The big difference for 2019 is that the Ravens feature a new look in starting second-year quarterback Lamar Jackson and an offense that Coach John Harbaugh says will be revolutionary.
We're doing something a little bit different. You know, the colleges and the high schools have been changing football for a while, and the NFL, the passing game has kind of been the NFL model. You hear about NFL passing offenses, and you know, I think it's kind of a certain style, but there's a lot of quarterbacks coming up now that are different. They have different skill sets and different styles. Lamar Jackson is definitely one of those guys. You see other guys, Baker Mayfield, Mahomes. I mean, these different guys coming into the NFL. It's really exciting, you know, so we're going to try to do what Lamar does well and see where it takes us.
And we'll have more from the head coach coming up. We're joined now by Ravens team president Dick Hass. Dick, great to see you. Thanks for the time.
Great to see you, Jeff. Thanks for having me.
I want to start with a question that's not football related, but unfortunately it's what everybody's been talking about today. The Ravens and the city of Baltimore are very closely linked, of course. The tweets that have been flying around from the president's Twitter account critical of Baltimore, how does that register inside this building?
Well, look, we support Baltimore in every way we possibly can. And I think of Baltimore, I think of the world-class medical facilities we have, the great research universities we have, our diverse business community, the fact that we have artists and entrepreneurs who are starting businesses here and doing well. I always focus on the positive things as much as you can. We've got a lot of challenges, like every big city has, and I think we're doing a lot to deal with those challenges. But what we really need is strong political support, and we need a support from elected officials at every level.
One thing that stands out in my memory from your two Super Bowl victories is the way that brought people together. People of all backgrounds had the same rooting interest, and there was a commonality there. In other words, you got to go win another one.
We always say at the Ravens that if we win, we're the strongest unifying force in this community. People can talk about us. We're a safe topic. Anybody can talk about us. You can be going anywhere in this city, any community, and you can talk about the Baltimore Ravens, and it's an easy topic, a good topic. We have tremendous fan support. It sets us apart, I think, from a lot of NFL teams. I mean, one of the disadvantages of being in Baltimore, some would say, is it's a smaller NFL market, but the big advantage is you have a bigger impact in the market. Community really gets behind us in a way that I think is unique.
You've been spending a lot of money in Baltimore lately. Let's talk about the stadium first, which in my mind is still brand new, so I don't know what it is you're fixing up
Well,
there.
It's hard to believe we've been there for 20 years. I mean, that's a long time. And so we've been putting a lot of money in the stadium over the years. The stadium cost $220 million to build. And now we have put additional $220 million into it over the last 20 years. So it's been a remarkable, I think, an investment by ownership in trying to make the stadium a good one. But in the last 3 years, we've spent $120 million. And that's what we've done is we've taken our video boards and blown them up, made them really high definition, high resolution, and again, among the biggest in the league, and certainly, if not the highest resolution boards in the league, certainly right up there in the discussion. Inserted new corner video boards. And remember, people started coming to our stadium 20 years ago. Now they're 20 years older, harder to walk up to the upper bowl. So we put in escalators and elevators to the upper bowl to help our fans get up there and enjoy the experience. We've invested a lot in Wi-Fi and trying to improve the food that we're serving at the stadium. New stadium lights are going in this year, have gone in now. So, I mean, those are some of the improvements. There's a lot of additional ones.
The corner video boards in the notches that used to be in the upper deck. What goes on those? I haven't seen them in person.
Well, during game day, if you're sitting, let's say you're sitting on the south side of the stadium and you look towards the north, you'll see two of the corner video boards.
Right.
One of the video boards will carry in-game stats of our own game. how many yards we've gained, how many first downs, and that sort of thing. The other board will carry out-of-town scores and out-of-town stats for the fantasy lovers.
Aren't they looking at the phones to get that?
Well, you
With
would
your
think
great
so. We
Wi-Fi?
put all the Wi-Fi
Yeah.
in, but we've got a diverse fan base. The guys who are my age, what they're going to do is they'll look at the live play on the field. Then they look to the end zone video boards for a replay.
Right.
Then while the team is huddling up, they're looking at the corner boards for out-of-town scores. The young guys, they're doing everything. Plus, they're looking at the phone just like you are right there, and getting their stats from the phone. So it's you have to do it all.
Let me remind our viewers, if you have a question for Mr. Cass, the way to ask it is to send us an email right now. Our email address is livequestions@mpt.org, livequestions@mpt.org, and we'll try to get your question on the air. The other thing I've noticed at the stadium, largely in the upper deck, is some empty seats over the past few
Yes.
years. You guys aren't unique. You see that all over the place. What are the factors in that?
Well, there's a lot of factors. I mean, I think in the 18 season, last year was the first year that we didn't have a 99% renewal rate. We had a lower than that. We still had 95, 96. We still sold the 9th most season tickets in the league, but we had some single game tickets to sell. And then we had 3 really bad weather days, and 3 games where it really rained very, very hard. And that affects, if you're getting up at Sunday morning and it's 10 o'clock and you're trying to make a final decision, am I going to go, am I not going to go? A lot of fans on a rainy day make the decision not to go. So the seats are sold, but no one's sitting in the seats. And that accounted for a lot of those empty seats. This year, again, the season ticket model was not a 99% renewal rate. So again, we lost some season ticket base. So we're going to be more dependent on selling single game tickets. And that is going on around the league. We're still doing very well. I mean, we still have one of the highest season ticket bases in the league, but it means we have to sell more single game tickets.
Right, and I've seen some of the ads for that. And
Yes.
in the old days,
No.
you didn't have to spend any money on ads. So
And
you're
if
trying
Lamar Jackson does what we hope he's going to do, we won't have to sell single game tickets anymore either.
No
We'll see.
pressure,
No
right.
pressure.
so you've made improvements to the stadium. The thing, I guess one of the big things you compete against is the quality of the TV broadcast, because when the stadium built, I didn't have a high definition TV at home.
No, and the quality of the in-game experience, of the game experience at home has gotten better and better, and we're trying to match it every way we can at the stadium. And so that's why we keep, actually I think you can see better replays at our stadium than you can see at home. We have more 4K cameras shooting our game, at our own cameras shooting the game at 1 o'clock for the purpose of replays than you would have on the broadcast network that's broadcasting our game. In addition, we have, for all of our games, we have Skycam, which gets replays from behind the ball. Most of the networks only have those for the night game. So the broadcasts that we put on at the stadium and the replays our fans see at the stadium are unique compared to what you can get sitting at home. Plus, when you come to the stadium, it's a real community experience. I mean, it's one of the times, again, where you can forget where you're from, how much money you make, what your race is, what your religion is. You're coming together at a strong and great community event that you just cannot duplicate at home.
What else is happening in the league? There's some rule changes this year. Where's the focus on the business side?
I think on the business side, the focus again will be on television ratings. That's what really drives the economics of the league, are the television revenues, the national television revenues. And our television ratings around the league were up last year by 5%, which is a remarkable achievement when you consider that when you look at all other programming categories, except for cable news, all other programming categories were down. Broadcast primetime was down 7%. NBA was down 11%. Major League Baseball was down. College football was down. But the NFL, again, had really strong ratings. 19 of the top 20 most watched shows were NFL games last year.
And there was a startup National Football Network that didn't last long.
Yes.
Called it was the AAF.
Yes, something like that.
Which bombed out. It was sort of interesting, and they did some innovative things, and there's another one in the pipeline,
XFL is in the pipeline. They're going to start playing games in the winter of 2020, and that's well-financed, and I think it'll last for a while.
More than half a season.
More than half a season. I think it's in a position to last for a couple of years at least, if not more.
Do we get to a point where a future rights deal for the NFL winds up going to a digital outlet, whether it's Amazon or somebody else, as opposed to the over-the-air broadcasters that it's typically been?
Well, Amazon has some rights to stream games this year, and I think in the future the major national television contracts expire. Most of them expire after the 2021 season, and I think the league will certainly consider proposals from digital companies for streaming some package of NFL games. I think that will be a factor. Yes.
You weren't born a football guy, but you're in the room for all that stuff
yes.
now. And there's a big change here because the past 11 years it's been Joe Flacco at quarterback,
yes.
at starting quarterback.
Well, the other big change is Ozzie Newsome is no longer a general manager, and Eric DeCosta is general manager, and Ozzie's still here, functioning and working hard, but Eric is now taking that chair.
I noticed 7 o'clock at night, quarter after. This is a full parking lot I'm looking at.
Yeah, you're seeing all the coaches and scouts are up there watching tape. And a lot of the players are just sort of wandering out of the building after eating dinner, heading home to rest or back to the hotel.
How's the league changing this year from a football standpoint?
I don't think you'll see. There's the big changes on the review of pass interference, right. And that'll be a big change. But I think they'll be experimenting with that during the preseason, and we'll see how that goes. But I think the game is really not going to be changing that much this year.
Here's a viewer question. What are the Ravens going to do about taking a knee during the national anthem? It's died down a bit.
It's really, our players took a knee one game, and back in 2017 have not taken a knee since then. I don't anticipate that happening this year at all.
Proud PSL season ticket owner named Josh. My question is, with all the stadium upgrade amenities, will there be any further upgrades to the castle? We meant to talk about that to accommodate training camp, and that's where we are. We're in the front of the building.
Right.
Nicknamed the castle because it sort of looks.
It's sort of grand. Yes, it is sort of grand. Yeah, we upgraded. I think what that fan is referring to is, can we expand the territory out here so we can have more people come to our summer training camp? We've just invested $45 million in expanding the castle. It's still a castle, but now it's a bigger castle. So it's bigger, it's more modern, we have more technology in it. It's really, again, I think it's, if not the best practice facility in the league, it's certainly in the discussion as the best. And we acquired some land adjacent to this, to the land we leased from the county to accommodate parking for training camp. But it's hard to grow the envelope more. So in answer to that question, I don't think we're going to be able to accommodate more than, we're this year we've got 2,000 to 2,500 fans for each practice. I hope we'll get that number up to 3,000, but I don't think it'll go beyond 3,000. I'll remind our fans, if they didn't come to the stadium practice, we had a great stadium practice last Saturday night. 28,000 fans showed up, a free practice. It was a great night. We blew out the fireworks. I don't know if you saw the fireworks.
No,
they were great. They were fabulous. Laser show. It was, all the fans who were there had a great time.
This wouldn't be proprietary knowledge. What's it cost to do a whiz-bang show like that?
I don't know.
All right.
Not going to say.
Viewer question.
It's too embarrassing.
This is Pete wants to know how you rate the refs in a fair, transparent way. Or maybe he's asking if there is a way to
the referees in our league get graded after every game. There's a group of former referees at the league office. They watch every game, then they watch tape of the games, and they critique every single official who is on the field every game. They tell them what they got right and what they got wrong. They give them a lot of direct feedback, and so, I think our officials, it's an incredibly hard game. If you're down on the field during a game and you see how quickly the players are moving, how these plays are bang, bang, and you have to make a judgment call, and then you're being critiqued by a millisecond by millisecond replay of the play. It's amazing to me how often the referees get it right in live action. And so it's not to say they don't make mistakes. They do. We all make mistakes. But I think they do in general. I think they do a fabulous job.
All right. I don't know if you can go out too far on a limb, but heading into the season, you don't know who's going to get through training camp healthy, but you're looking for a good year. People think
we're excited about our season. We really are. I always take the lead from the coaches and the scouts, and they're genuinely excited about the year. We have a young team, a much younger team than we've had in recent years, And I think there's just a lot of excitement. Now we'll see if we can produce on the field. You just never know, really.
We'll look forward to finding out. Ravens team president Dick Cass. Now we mentioned that we spoke earlier with Ravens head coach John Harbaugh. Coach, thanks very much for talking with us.
Great being with you, Jeff.
I saw a headline on NFL.com today. You would talk to the network about your new offense and talked about it being revolutionary. And I don't know if it was their quote or yours. It was going to be Bill Walsh, Joe Montana. Can you deliver on that? What do you have in mind?
Well, the idea basically is that we're doing something a little bit different. You know, the colleges and the high schools have been changing football for a while, and the NFL, the passing game has kind of been the NFL model. You hear about NFL passing offenses, and you know, I think it's kind of a certain style, but there's a lot of quarterbacks coming up now that are different. They have different skill sets and different styles. Lamar Jackson is definitely one of those guys. You see other guys, Baker Mayfield, Mahomes. I mean, these different guys coming into the NFL. It's really exciting, you know, so we're going to try to do what Lamar does well and see where it takes us.
From a fan perspective, a viewer perspective, does it make the game a little bit more unpredictable?
I think it does. I think it's going to be something that people aren't used to seeing, you know, and some of the old school NFL people, and, you know, we hear the criticism, of course, you know, and, well, you can't do that and that won't work in this league, but boy, you never change if you don't try something different. So I'm excited about it, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I think this is your 12th season, 12th training camp as head coach. Previous 11, you had Joe Flacco running around out here. Now it's Lamar Jackson as the starter. Does that change the tenor? And there's a leadership thing that comes along with being the starting QB.
It does change it a little bit. I mean, it's personalities. I mean, many things are the same. The field's the same. The fans are the same. But there's an excitement. You know, there's always an excitement. And, of course, Joe, we love Joe, and he's doing great from right here in Denver and everything. But Lamar's our quarterback now, and we have new guys and young guys. Not just that change either. You know, we've had a lot of other changes. Hey, Ed Reed's going into the Hall of Fame this year. Ray Lewis went into the Hall of Fame last year. Terrell Suggs is in Arizona. That's life, right? So we move on, and I'm excited for these young guys.
Also change on defense. A lot of, you know, personnel changes. What's the impact going to be?
I think it's going to be exciting, too. We're going to be fast. We're going to have a lot of fast young guys out there running around. We're going to be an aggressive pressure defense, a blitzing defense. You know, we're going to try to make as many plays in the backfield as we can. We're not going to be, you know, sit back and bend but don't break. We're going to try to take the action to the offense, and we're going to see what happens.
Rule changes this year. I don't know the whole list, but from your perspective, what stands out as being most important to the game?
Well, the biggest thing is going to be the change of the ability to challenge offense and defensive pass interference, which has kind of been taboo for the last number of years because it's a judgment call. And that's going to go into replay now. So it's going to be interesting to see how the replay official judges those in slow motion.
You get the same number of flags?
Same number of flags. Good point. And that's going to be interesting to see the dynamic there. I think you're not going to be able to burn timeouts as much early because you won't want to lose the ability to challenge an offensive or defensive pass interference at the end of the game.
When camp starts, how many players do you have at your disposal?
We have 90. We actually have 91 because we have an international player. So they gave us a bonus player. He's from Germany, Chris Azalea. He's a fullback and a linebacker.
So I'm interested in these people who were clearly, you know, one of the best players on their high school team. They went to the next level at college and obviously competed well. And here they are at the highest level, but fighting for a scarce number of jobs.
Right. I guess it's the nature of the business as you move up. These are all stars. These guys were all the football heroes, so to speak, at their level. And here they are. And, you know, but not all of them. Some of these guys are late bloomers, too, that went to smaller schools and you never really heard about, and they ended up being great players at this level. So one thing I like about football, the National Football League, and really football at every level, it's kind of for everybody. I mean, football is the kind of sport that anybody can play. It doesn't have to be the tall guy. You can be big, you can be little, you can be fast, you can even be not that fast. You know, heck, if you're too small, you could be the team manager. I mean, anybody can be a part of the football team, and it's one of the things I love about this sport. I think one of the reasons, you know, that it's so popular, but also why it's so good for our kids in high school nowadays.
We're also speaking with Dick Cass about the changes down at the stadium.
Right.
From field level, maybe it doesn't make any difference in what you're doing, but when you look around there, and you were just there over the weekend, does it change the look and feel at all, maybe update it a bit?
It does, you know, and even from the field level, I think it's amazing for the fans. I mean, this stadium is really fun, but from our perspective, you know, they've closed off the corners a little bit and put the big screens up there with some sky boxes.
How's your kicker feel about that?
Oh, he loves it. He loves it because there's not as much wind.
It didn't just change it to weird.
It made it more predictable.
Okay.
It did, but there might be some swirling, no doubt. But I think it's louder. I think it keeps the noise in just a little bit more.
You know, the city of Baltimore has been the subject of a lot of activity on Twitter over the last 24 hours. I mean, you guys are Baltimore's football teams. I mean, how's it play here with your players, with you?
You know, it doesn't really play too much because we're kind of focused on what we're doing. You try to not, you try to impact the things you can impact, make a difference where you can. I don't think our guys worry too much about the politics. They do care about Baltimore. You know, they love Baltimore. Our guys are in the community. They're spending time with the people of Baltimore. I can go all the way back to, you know, even after the tough times we had like 4 or 5 years ago, our whole team was down there, and our guys are in the city and they're doing things for people and coaching kids up all the time. So that's something you can do. The rest of it, you know, it really doesn't have too much to do with us.
Coach, we know you're busy. We appreciate the time. Best of luck this year.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thanks. And Direct Connection continues right after this.
The MPT app puts our programs right at your fingertips, so you can choose when to watch, what to watch, wherever you want to watch it. Download it now.
Are you turning 70 and a half this year? If so, you generally have to start spending down your retirement account. Even the minimum distribution can place you in a sticky situation. Luckily, you can now use your IRA to make tax-free gifts. Gifts up to $100,000 will never count as income, but always make a difference. That's icing on the cake.
Make your gift for this year before December 31st. Visit mpt.org/support.
Now, speaking of regional sports, there is a ton of historic material on display at the Lacrosse Hall of Fame, as Yolanda Vasquez reports.
Whether you're an avid player of the game, learning a little bit more about it, or a huge fan, there is plenty for you to explore here at the U.S. Lacrosse headquarters in Sparks, Maryland. In fact, you're looking at a lacrosse stick here from early 1900s. I think that's the circa, but we're going to learn a little bit more about that from Josh Christian, who is the managing director here at U.S. Lacrosse. How's everything going for you, Josh?
Everything's going well. Thanks for being here.
Wonderful. That dates back to when?
It's right around 1900. So we're looking at almost 118 years ago, right?
Which is interesting because this sport really does have a very long history. In fact, some say it's the oldest sport in this country.
It does. The first observation by French missionaries of the Native Americans playing lacrosse was in 1636, so almost 400 years ago. And so obviously that would probably be the first sport here in North America and arguably the first team sport in the world. And so it's a very old sport for us, but just taking popularity, becoming more popular now.
Let's talk a little bit more about this museum. You said people don't just happen upon this in particular. They probably either have a love of the game or played it at some point. Tell me more about that.
Sure. So the National Lacrosse Hall of Fame and Museum really has two purposes. One, to showcase and educate those about the history of the game from the Native American roots all the way up to today, and then also honor those who by their contributions and accolades are inducted into the National Lacrosse Hall of Fame. So most people that come here have some connection with the game. But now that we have games on our field, we do have the opportunity for people that have never seen the game to walk in and learn more about it. And it's really wants to showcase all the aspects of the game, if you're a player, a fan, a coach, or official, to get you excited and to learn more and bring that community together.
And you mentioned about the Native American roots. In fact, we learned a little bit more about the geographic regions where it was most present, right?
That's right. So there's really three traditional regional areas that the version of lacrosse has been played. The most traditional is the Northeast. The Iroquois game, which has led the one long stick with a ball that is the most direct descendant of the game that we know today. There's also a Southeastern version, which is two smaller sticks where they pinch a ball between. Many call it stick ball. And then there is a Great Lakes version, which is a smaller stick with a round cup. So all three of those variations have occurred within the Native American community. But again, the Northeast, the traditional Iroquois game, is what really has led to today's game.
I think what's most fascinating taking a quick tour of the museum is to learn a little bit more about the evolution of the game. Everything from the sticks that were made so long ago, wooden, and now all the materials that you find, to a lot of the footwear. I mean, it's fascinating, the teams, the way women play by certain rules versus men. I think that's been the most interesting to me.
Sure, the origination of one game as a Native American has definitely taken different paths. There's different sets of rules for women's lacrosse and men's lacrosse, and the evolution of the equipment really is what is a part of that history. And so, the men play with a stick and a ball, and the women play with a stick and a ball, and that's what binds everything together. But the Native Americans early on, all sticks were made of wood, and so until the 70s and the introduction of a plastic stick, it was all wood. And so many people have never seen a wooden stick. And many of the kids that are playing now obviously have never even touched a wooden sticks. So you can come in, touch those, pick it up, and get a little feel for what it's like to have something that was a living tree at one point and is a little bit different than the plastic sticks that you see today.
Interactivity is key here.
Correct. We've really put a lot of emphasis on not only videos, but also interactives, touch screens that you can go deep to learn about the history, the timeline, the differences in the men's and the women's game, learn something about every Hall of Famer that's been inducted, so you can come once, you come back, you may not see the same thing both times.
That Hall of Fame wall is pretty impressive, and I was asking, was there anyone notable that we would know, and you sure showed me somebody.
So by far, the most recognizable person that's been inducted is Jim Brown. So All-American lacrosse player and football player, obviously, from Syracuse that played for the Cleveland Browns. Many people do not know his passion and love for the game. He is one of the truly greatest players, and many will say the greatest player that's ever played.
And we also get a chance to see the lacrosse equivalent of the Heisman Trophy.
That's right, the Tewaaraton Trophy. It's one of two trophies that are on display. Obviously, the Tewaaraton Foundation has one of those, and that's for like you said, the Heisman for the top collegiate men's and women's player every year, and so that's on display as well.
Wonderful stuff. Josh Christian, I'm going to borrow that from you if I can. It was a pleasure to speak with you. Thank you so much for your time. And if you'd like to find out more information about the U.S. Lacrosse headquarters and everything that they have here in their museum, all you have to do is go online and check out their website. This is a pretty fascinating lacrosse stick, I must say. I mean, you have to come here and see several other examples of lacrosse sticks. Some look like this, and some look a little bit different. All right, Jeff, but I like this one. We're going to wrap it up here from Sparks, Maryland. I'm going to send it back to you in the studio. Look at that craftsmanship. Just doesn't get like that anymore.
Yolanda, thank you. And that is our program for this week. For all of us at MPT, thanks for watching, and have a good night.
This program was made by MPT to serve all of our diverse communities.